So let's turn to this. Where is the media apology after they smeared the Supreme Court justices, including Justice Gorsuch, based on a false NPR story? The court, in a rare rebuke, says it's false. NPR claimed Justice Sotomayor, who has diabetes, was effectively avoiding Justice Gorsuch, claiming that he refused to wear a mask. But the Supreme Court says this is wrong. What do you think of the story?
Actually, Elizabeth, I think it's fantastic, because now the Supreme Court gets to see what the rest of us deal with all the time, and that is fake news. And here it is, fake news about the Supreme Court, and obviously the justices were miffed, and NPR not only hadn't apologized, but as you know, they've doubled down. And even though Justice Sotomayor has said that did not happen. I didn't ask him to wear a mask. He didn't turn it down. So it's fake news at its best, and the Supreme Court gets to experience close to their home.
We hear you, Congressman, and, you know, it was based on anonymous sources. But let's watch what happened in the media. Watch this.
Gorsuch loves COVID, which makes him the perfect Republican. He thinks very little of coronavirus precautions.
Tragically, anti-mask insanity has now reached the highest court in the land.
That just seems ridiculous. Can you put a mask on to be polite? It's not hard.
Every other justice is masking up, even Clarence Thomas, who doesn't seem to care about anybody. But nope, not Gorsuch. He could not be bothered to extend a life-saving courtesy to his coworker.
Okay, but in a rare, the Supreme Court never makes statements like this. In a rare statement, look at what the Chief Justice Roberts said, Gorsuch and Sotomayor said. They said this story by Nina Tonenberg was false, wrong, and incorrect.
Exactly. Yeah, and what I hope is that the Sullivan case may come up for review, because we need them to knock that down and not make it more difficult for public figures to be able to sue people for defamation, for slander, libel. And I'm hopeful this will be an encouragement for the Supreme Court to do that. Now they've gotten a taste of what the rest of us get all the time.
And Congressman, the media reacting to the Biden agenda failing and vote reform failing, the filibuster is staying in place. Democrats failing on that. Congressman, I'd like your reaction to this. Watch.
The more we learn that there really was an attempt to overthrow our democracy.
I think oftentimes Democrats say, oh, democracy is in peril. And people are like, you guys are acting like the sky is falling. But what Democrats, and not just Democrats, there are Republicans, independents, our democracy shouldn't be a partisan thing, are talking about is this assault at the state legislature level.
We are seeing nothing short of the direct challenge. It isn't even only to democracy in the form of voting. It is to the very nature of a pluralist country.
How does no voter ID, which is what this bill would do, would wipe out voter ID, right? How does that improve election integrity? And by the way, you need ID for doctor's visits, to adopt pets, for cigarettes and alcohol purchases. So how does that improve election integrity by wiping out voter ID?
Well, obviously it doesn't. It makes the election much less secure. But how about the arrogance and the hypocrisy of airlines saying how wrong it is to require an ID, a picture ID, when you can't get on their planes without an ID? You can't get in to see any attorney general without a picture ID. And yet this attorney general thinks, oh, you shouldn't have one for voting. And Elizabeth, I remember going to Iraq right after their first election, and people stood in line for hours sometimes, and then they stuck their finger in purple ink. And one police chief was telling me that one of their police found a guy in line with a suicide vest. He grabbed him, threw him to the ground, and jumped on him, and they both were killed in the explosion. And I said, I guess all the voters scattered. And he looked surprised. He said, no, they knew if they got out of line and didn't vote, that policeman died for nothing. We've got to get back to where we understand how important it is to have secure elections. Without them, we don't have elections.
Congressman Gohmert, it's good to see you. Come back soon. Okay, we've got this story for you.